Vice President of Halifax Bank at 22. Oh, you're doing alright for yourself then, ain't ya? Ain't ya? She worked a good job anyways. I don't know why she felt like she needed to lie about that. And then I asked him a question. So I was like, wait, so what did you do when you went to Paris? Because didn't you see her passport or anything? Didn't you see? And he was like, we've never been to Paris. Oh, you've never been to Paris? I said, wait, so remember that time I was on FaceTime to both of you and she was getting...
Summer with you.
You got it, Grandma!
Of course, I'm a Swiftie. And you know the words to the song.
Hi, Mom, I'm going to...
Okay, have fun at... There's my...
It's my...
I love... You're truly the love of my... You're so...
Stop it, babe. You're so...
I'll see you after class, baby.
We're just gonna call her Mia. So, y'all remember yesterday how I was talking about Sam and how he's a hoe, right? And how I wanted to mess with him, but he didn't want a relationship, basically. So, I stopped talking to him. So, I forgot to say good morning. Good morning. I was just too excited to tell this story. So, he was...
You know you can beat their
I don't give a fuck. I like to fight. It turns me on. That shit make me wet. Fuck is you talking about? Wop, wop, wop. Yeah, bitch.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna play because I don't want my whole page to be dedicated to me being a actual fucking crash out. Though I do have many crash out stories, unfortunately. But y'all, I feel like I'm really trying to glow to...
Give me peso, extendo. I carry bitches like a Greco.
I honestly have so many videos of that I can show a different time. But yeah, at this point, we decided to call the cops, told them what was going on. We asked them to come down and tell her to please leave us alone. Submitted a police report. We showed them all the notes and everything. And they would come down and they said that they would go knock on her door, but if she didn't answer, they couldn't do anything about it. We had called the cops multiple times because this kept happening. Even when they would come, like nothing would change. She would still do it again and they would do nothing really about it.
No. Instead, when we got home, he opened his phone, and it was actually Lily sending him a bunch of naked pictures. Story time about my boyfriend's girl best friend. So a little background information, I was 15 and in 9th grade, and my boyfriend Jaden and I have been together for 2 years. In the beginning, everything was great, and then we went over to his best friend's house, which I didn't realize that his best friend was a girl. And at first I liked her. Her name was Anita, and she was super funny, super nice. Well, fast forward, it started to become a routine where he would drop me off at my house.
Talking about makeup and stuff. And then he was like, babe, I love you, but I do not respect you. And I was really upset with that. So, double whammy, ditches me at work and then insults me to my face like that within less than 48 hours. So anyway, I was really, really disheartened by that. And I went home that day and I had deleted all the TikToks that I made. And I couldn't bring myself to make another one because every time I tried, I just had him.
It's my job. So I thought, delusional again, that they're coming to surprise me. Like he came with her to surprise me. Until I saw her location stop down the street from my job. When my boyfriend showed up without her, I asked him, what were you guys doing together? I know you guys were together. He told me he had no idea what I was talking about and he had not seen her. So he denied it, so I went and asked her. And her story, same thing. I was not with him. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a coincidence. She claimed that she didn't want to be in our drama.
Make that pistol pop.
Literally begged him to FaceTime me. And I was asking him, oh, what should I wear? So I put on this dress that was really tight-fitting, which I was already super uncomfortable about wearing because of the fact that I had a little bit of a belly now. So he picks me up, we go to this party, and I go and I start hanging out with a few of my friends. Well, one of my friends comes over and shows me something that he posted on his private story, like for part 2. Part 2 about my extremely toxic boyfriend. So like I said, one of my friends comes over and shows me something that he posted on his private story. It was literally a mess, but she took me to the mall. I thought she was normal. And then she took me to her house. When we got into the neighborhood, I kind of recognized it because my grandma lived in the same neighborhood. But anyways, we pull up and it is literally trashed. Like, there's fucking garbage all outside of the house. And I walked inside thinking that it would be better. No, it was filthy. There were needles everywhere. You could definitely tell that druggies lived there. And they had weird pictures hanging up all over the walls of these girls. Random girls. Like, when I asked who they were.
Girl, love you. And we were like, and she was like, and I was like, and she was like, how do you do it? Like, teach me. And I was like, girl, it's so easy. Like, let me teach you. Like, I got you, girl. Like, don't even worry. So I was like trying to teach her. And it's really hard to teach someone that. Like, and you're hanging out at college. Like, that's like difficult. Like, don't try at home. And so we were like, so we were literally like in the corner. And I was trying to like show her. Like, I was like, just slip.
Nobody wanted to watch that shit. So then I asked her if she unalived someone, like for part 2. Part 2 about my weird cellmate. So like I said, I asked her if she unalived someone before, because only somebody who unalived somebody would be triggered over us watching true crime, but she completely ignores me. So the first night, something happened with this girl. It was low-key, very, very weird. Me and my other cellmates were like, this girl's weird as hell. Why is she here? And then the next day was the icing on the cake. So it was cleaning day, and we're all cleaning our stuff. And this girl just starts cleaning the weirdest things, like the...
I just flipped the switch.
And then I told him that I had feelings for him. And he said that he did too. So we decided to be terrible people and we hooked up. And after that, we definitely knew that there weren't any feelings there. But he went and got a shower because he had my lipstick all over him and he was really sweaty. Then my best friend got back like for part 2. Part 2 of how my best friend found out that I hooked up with her boyfriend. So like I said, her and my boyfriend finally got back to my house. And she goes, oh, where's Nate? And I told her that Nate was in the shower. I told her that whenever he was trying to friends, that I would be a better driver. So I was pretty much like their bitch. Anyway, so the one night my mom wanted to make this recipe that she saw on TikTok, and she didn't have the right seasonings for it, so who did she tell to go to the store? Yours truly, me. And on Sundays, the mini market that was in our town would close at 4 o'clock. So I had to drive like 30 minutes away to the nearest Target, and when I got there, I had to park in the back because they had like 10 handicap spaces up front, another 10.
And he was like, can I have your number? And I was like, no, like, I don't even know you. No, you can't have my number. And he was like, come on. You know, trying to convince me to give me his number. I'm like, no. Mind you, it's not just him. It's his friends there too. Remember when I said the teachers would like kind of force you out of the hallways? It's just me and these boys that are in the staircase now because everyone is on the first floor exiting the building. I'm like, nah, you good, whatever. So I put my AirPod back in and I walked 3 more steps, right? And I'm trying to hurry up. Next thing you know, I feel someone...
And other people, he's 14 and, you know, he apparently didn't know his birthday. Well, fast forward, he's been texting me more, and when I told him I loved him, he left me on open, which he never does. He always says it back to me. We still haven't really been talking on the phone, but I did send him pictures. Not fully nude, but both times I sent those, he literally called me right after. But other than that, he will never call me. Story time about how my sister sold my nudes. Yes.
You know this sound in the middle of the night,
In high school. Well, I have this best friend who we are going to call Sarah. Her and I became super close over the summertime, but she was like on and off best friends with this other girl who we're gonna call Mackenzie. But I had this boyfriend who I was also really on and off with. And Sarah knew about all the problems within our relationship. Well, I guess I underestimated how close Sarah and Mackenzie were, because everything that I told Sarah, she went back and she told Mackenzie. And not to mention, Mackenzie was really close with my boyfriend. So of course she told my boyfriend everything that I...
Yeah, and I haven't hit yet, like, what should I do, Julie? And I'm like, Because even though me and him were friends, she was still very much so my best friend, and you're just her boyfriend at this point. Like, we're not buddy-buddy anymore. And I'm not a dude, so do not tell me, oh, I haven't hit yet, or, like, I'm trying to hit. Like, don't say that shit to me. But I told her that he was saying that stuff, and she's like, didn't really care that he was saying all this, like, kind of gross stuff about her. He's like, we've been dating for, like, 2 months at this point, and I haven't hit yet. Like, it's been 2 months, buddy. So freshman year kind of comes and goes. They dated the rest of freshman year. I probably got them together in like March or so. And then they didn't really say anything over
making the best decisions anyway. And now that I'm on my own, they have completely let go of me. Like, I am completely on my own. I think they know that they raised me good, and now they've just let go. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for raising me right, even if it might have been a little straight and narrow. So I gotta go. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. Love you. Bye.
Okay, the girlies are definitely gonna know what I'm talking about, but do you know when you meet a girl in real life and you're just like, she's giving like really mean girl energy? Here's the thing though, I'm an overthinker, so I'm
So then I'm just like, okay, whatever, and then I walk out, not thinking of it till yesterday. So then her and this dude get really close. They are constantly together. I cannot have a single conversation with her without him being there. Jessica ran into Jack at the park when she was taking photos with her boyfriend. And then she was like, hey, what's going on between you and Maya? Like, we all just like really want to know. And he's like, oh, nothing. Me and my girlfriend just broke up, so I'm not really trying to get into a relationship, and I'd just like to become friends with her. Which we're already like, what?
It's a remix and I'm coming with that pretty bitch, I'm tryna.
Right? AKA Jake. Obviously, I say yes. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my best friend was a snake. So like I said, I had to move away for 3 months because of my dad, and Jake and I, we stopped talking about 2 weeks after I had left. And then I get a text from my friend saying, hey, you know Callie and that guy that you were talking to, Jake? Obviously, I say yes. And then she goes, oh, well, they're talking about getting together. And I was livid. I'm like, dude, I've literally been gone for like less than a month and you're already...
Worst date you've ever been on. Here's mine.
So I picked this girl up from her house for our first date many years ago. Getting to head into a Mexican restaurant about 10 minutes from our house. Conversation to the restaurant is great. We get to the restaurant, they seat us, we're having a good time. We order our food. About halfway through the meal, she goes, take me home now. You okay? She said, take me home. We jump in the car, heading back to the house. About 5 minutes before we get to the house, I hear, whee! What was that? She said, I'm so sorry. Her face turned as red as my hood.
London, like the trip was bearable. Like I managed. I did have a good time nonetheless. Her friends were weird, didn't like them. From when someone can lie and say that Taser Black is their cousin and that Matthew Bridges is their brother or whatever she said, and at the age of 22 she became vice president of Halifax, and that. So guys, please stay vigilant, because these girls, some of these girls, as a girl, you really need to be careful about who you're making.
We see this guy like with his hands up. It's 2 of them with their hands up. My dog just came in, guys. Wanna come say hi, Dad? Hold on. Okay, bye. And I'm thinking like the police is like finna pat them down or something. But then he leans over and falls into the ground. This is where it gets kind of scary. Then the police start giving him CPR for like 10 minutes until the EMTs get there. But at that point,
You know I'm the face of the city, bitch. That's why you mad.
following us again. It was like they waited outside the first store for us to come out. So then we decided that we were going to walk around one of the kiosks a few times to see if they were really following us. And of course they were, so we went into another store and they didn't follow us in that one either. So I go up to one of the workers and I asked if they could possibly like call security or something, because there are these guys following us, and she said yeah, like for part 2. Part 2 about why I will never go Black Friday shopping ever again. So like I said, my friends and I go into the one store, and of course they don't follow us in there, so we ask an employee if they can call security. So whenever security got there, I told them, I was like, are you sure? And she said, yeah, just go tell my mom. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and told her mom where I was going and went over his house. So I walked back to her house and she literally locked me out. Like her mom had to come open the door for me to let me in. And she was like, oh, it's a good thing you came back when you did, because I was going to drive you home now and tell your dad everything that you did. And she goes, I don't think you guys should be together because you're unexperienced. And she would always tell me how he flirts with her all the time. So after our friendship ended, she
blocked me from the get-go. The second she started making videos just like mine, she had me blocked. Never even knew about her. This went on for, I would say, a whole year. And that's a big part of the reason I quit making POVs for a good 2 years, was because it was so annoying to have my content stolen from me and being done so much better by somebody else. I guess you could say I'm jealous, but at the same time, it's not really jealousy if it's literally... it's my content, and it's doing better on her account. Like, it's just a different person saying.
Story time about the time I kissed one of my managers at work. So I got this job at this really cool store, and we had like an orientation, and I had seen said manager. He was walking around. There was a couple of managers, and I thought he was so cute. I thought he was so cute. He was like probably like 5 years older than me, and I thought it was really cute. So one day we were opening together.
unless you know me from TikTok. So I just don't understand how someone just posting their life on social media could make someone that mad, especially when I post the kind of content that I try and post for you guys. Again, I'm a very gracious person. I'm not gonna be mad at anyone. I always do my best to try and be the bigger person. But if the person that did it wanted me to be mad, I guess I was more mad at the fact that I had to wake up at 6 a.m. and power wash my entire house and driveway. Other than that, I get the fact that people do make mistakes, but this is quite literally illegal. Like, I feel like everyone knows that egging houses is illegal. I haven't heard of someone egging a
So everything was going good, but then my dumb ass decided to look in the fucking mirror. And as soon as I look in the mirror, I see myself smile back at me, like for part 2. Okay, part 2. So like I said, I look in the mirror and I see myself smiling back at me. And that's whenever everything went south so quick. I sat on the bed, tried to pull myself together because I didn't want to make a fucking scene in front of everybody. But then I got caught in this fucking loop. And if you don't know what the loop is, then I'm going to tell you what it is. It's basically where you feel like you're doing the same thing over and I didn't live with my parents at this time. Well, 2 a.m. rolls around and we get a text from our friend. And he goes, "Oh, do you want to come to my party right now?" And we really wanted to go, so we had to come up with this elaborate plan on how we were going to get out of my house and get back in. Because we had to worry about a dog who freaks out every time someone leaves and comes back, motion-censored lights, adults waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and I was on the first floor of the house, thank God. So I had my sister put the dog in.
Everyone is gonna die and no one is gonna remember you, so fuck it.
To be some boundaries. He was like, yeah, I told you what it was whenever we got together. So if you don't like that, then just break up with me. Looking back on it now, that was also a red flag. Because I feel like he was telling me to break up with him, so that way he didn't have to break up with me, like for part 2. Part 2 about how my boyfriend cheated on me with the girl best friend. So like I said, she would still hang all over him, and he pretty much told me, if you don't like that, then you can leave. Obviously, I did not want to leave because I liked him and he was
waiting for the bus, and this guy next to me is just like, what the fuck were you doing? I've never been so terrified in my life. I genuinely thought like that was it. I was going to prison. My life was fucking over. I was using this Kylie on my eyes on the bus and said my goodbyes to this bloody idiot. I just remember thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go home and the police officer is going to have called my mum on the landline. At the time we had landlines, I'm fucking old. I got home and I was thinking my mum's going to have like spoken to the police. She's going to fucking kill me. I'm going to be out on the street.
While I called the cops, he ended up going to jail, got a restraining order, and now my mom and I are living in a new house. Story time about the time that I had a thing with my stepbrother. So a little background information. I was 14 and it was the first half of my freshman year. So my dad had recently broken up with my mom and he had different girls in and out of the house 24/7. I mean, he was kind of doing his thing after a 15-year marriage. Well, the one day I'm sitting in the house and he brings this girl Kayla over. She had a few...
It's about damn time. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump.
And I have been dating for 3 years going on 4. And we were pretty much what you call a very toxic relationship. We would break up with each other, then get back together 5 minutes later. I would say that it's all really my boyfriend's fault, because instead of spending time with me, he would rather go out to the club and sleep with any whore that he could find. But he would always start an argument with me before he went to the club so that way he had a reason to cheat on me. And he's been doing this ever since we first started dating. I don't know why I didn't take that as a red flag, but I'm a dumb...
Hey y'all, get ready with me. I am super duper late to school because you are not going to believe what happened to me this morning. So I woke up at a pretty decent time and all of a sudden I wake up with my ear bleeding. Y'all see this hole right now? Y'all see this hole? Yes, I woke up with my ear bleeding. And at first, my earring, I had my second piercing and it wasn't there. I was like, what?
No words. No words to that one. So at that point, I looked at him laying in bed next to me and I said, we're not going to speak again after tonight. Now, keep in mind, I forgot to add this. He's texting her back because I made him open the chats. Oh, he's texting her back, and, like, I'm seeing it, and he's like, yeah, it was great talking to you, like, I made it to Easton safe. Like, you're not even trying. So we sleep in bed next to each other. I told him we're not talking the next day. Next day, once again, apparently... They would probably think I
was one of the more popular people just because I was so well known. I feel like there's a difference between being well known and popular. Even since sophomore year, like, I never was a partier. I've always had super strict parents. I never was out late. I never drank at parties, any of that stuff. I just never really did any of that. Once in a while, did I go to a party? Sure. Was I a DD? Yes. I didn't drink. I would always have to be home early, so it's not like I did anything crazy. But when I tell you, if I made one mess up, did one thing wrong in high school, I felt like it was the end of the world. And so I had never run to the bathroom to cry so fast in my entire life. This one was also started by the same girl. As you can see, I had a lot of fake friends, but basically there was this couple that got in trouble for doing the dirty in the school parking lot in the morning. I don't know what entailed her to start telling people that it was me and this guy I was talking to, but this was like sophomore year. Like, I was not doing that at that point. And I remember when like the actual couple got in trouble, and then I was just looking at everyone like, bro, like, I didn't even know I did that. How would I have done that? Next rumor was that I cheated on someone. I had this guy friend that...
So I'm just like, now you're playing the victim? Okay. All right. And then eventually I'm just like, hey, like, I want to let you know that I'm literally sitting here crying because of what I heard that you said about me. Like, that is not okay. Like, I've done nothing but stick up for you behind closed doors. Like, I thought that me and you were good. I've never had problems with you before. And you want to say something so disrespectful? You serious? I think not. So if you're still here, which I doubt that you